We begin with this. In Athens, the trial of Jose Ibarra now underway. He's charged with killing nursing student Laken Riley, who was jogging on UGA's campus in February.
And it has been a full day inside the courtroom with opening statements and the first prosecution witnesses taking the stand. We have also seen evidence and pictures from the crime scene and what attorneys say Ibarra was wearing at the time of the murder that they say he tried to throw away. 11 Alive's Grace King joining us live from Athens this afternoon. And Grace, you spent the day at the courthouse watching this trial unfold. What was it like inside of that courtroom?
It's heavy. The benches are filled with all of Laken Riley's loved ones struggling to look at some of that evidence you just mentioned. Her mom and her sister sat in the front row crying softly as prosecutors vowed to prove their case.
Laken fought. She fought for her life. She fought for her dignity. And in that fight, she caused this defendant to leave forensic evidence behind.
Prosecutor Sheila Ross believes the evidence is clear.
All three forms of those evidence will point to one person, Jose Ibarra, as the killer of Laken Riley.
Jose Ibarra is accused of brutally killing Laken Riley on UGA's campus. Prosecutors say he brought her into the woods, covered her body with leaves, and returned home to discard the evidence. But investigators say they found clothing and gloves with Laken's DNA at Ibarra's apartment complex and his left fingerprint on her phone.
Exactly where your thumb would be if you go to hang up a call on an iPhone.
Testimony shows Laken's phone hung up on 911, but her concerned roommates made a call of their own after finding Laken's left AirPod on their running trail.
Hi, we're calling because our roommate went out for a run at 9. She usually runs through Lake Herrick behind grad housing, and we haven't heard from her.
They were devastated to learn what happened to her.
Laken brought a sense of joy to all of our lives that has been missing ever since.
Ibarra's attorneys plan to argue that someone else killed Laken Riley.
The evidence that Jose Ibarra killed Laken Riley is circumstantial.
They hope Judge Patrick Haggard will have more reasonable doubt than a jury.
We waived a jury trial in this case with the hope and trust that despite the nature of this evidence, that you could come to a verdict that was not just a way of easing this family's suffering, but it was based on an impartial and honest assessment of the evidence in this case.
And this afternoon, we're hearing from a lot of the investigators who were in charge of processing the evidence at the scene. The trial is expected to go into next week, but because it's a bench trial, prosecutors say it should be a rather quick trial. Live in Athens, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
Grace, thank you so much for breaking that down for us. If you want to get caught up with this trial, you can catch today's opening statements right now on the 11 Alive Plus streaming app. It's free to download to your streaming devices.